Triple Frontier has just dropped on Netflix, and this action-packed thriller is getting pretty good reviews across the board. The 120-minute movie has a lot to unpack from it, so I thought I'd put together a breakdown on the film to discuss everything that you need to know about the movie. This is full spoilers ahead, so if you don't want to know anything about the film or its ending, then I highly suggest that you turn off now. Don't forget to watch until the end of the video to hear my review of Triple Frontier, which is definitely worth sticking around for. With that out of the way, I'm Definition and welcome to the channel where I explain it so you don't have to. After Santiago Pope Garcia, played by Oscar Isaac, discovers the whereabouts of a high-profile drug lord named Gabriel Martin Lorea, he reunites with 4 of his former Special Forces operatives to plan a heist. It's pretty clear that the majority of the characters are sick from fighting for their country and getting nothing from it, and this mission, which they plan to be their last, is solely for personal gain. The group are made up of Tom Redfly Davis, played by Ben Affleck, who is struggling to pay bills as a real estate agent, William Ironhead Miller, played by Charlie Hunnam, who makes ends meet as a motivational speaker for the army, his brother Ben, who is a UFC fighter, and his trainer Francisco Catfish Morales, played by Pedro Pascal. Whilst predominantly they are retired, the group are struggling to adjust to civilian life, and though they initially protest Garcia attempting to recruit them, for one reason or another they're dragged back into the fray. It's basically like when you tell your mates you don't want a night out, but they keep asking and asking, and before you know it you're lying in the middle of the street covered in Jägermeister with a woman named Malcolm. Anyway, they arrive at the South American house and discover that these guys aren't your typical friendly drug dealers like your ex-housemate John, but they're the bad ones that hold executions in their garden and murder anyone who would attempt to rob them. Garcia's girlfriend, called Havana, whose brother is in jail after a drug bust, enters the house and supplies Garcia with information in exchange for her siblings' release, and Garcia reveals to the team that maybe cluing the government in like they originally said isn't the best idea. They say F it and decide to do it anyway, aware that if successful it means that they won't be able to return to their normal lives. With the help of Havana, Garcia is able to sneak into the compound, and in some stealth scenes that are reminiscent of Splinter Cell, they take the house and discover that the money is hidden in the walls. It's wall-to-wall cash, literally, cause of the cash in the wall. Never mind. Anyway, the group get greedy and try to take more cash than they can because DC are no longer paying Ben Affleck to be Batman, and Lorea ambushes them from his safe house, shooting William in the process. Lorea is killed and the guards return to the house, which forces the group to do a pretty merciless leave no witnesses cleanup. They make it to the LZ, that stands for landing zone in case you haven't played 700 hours of Call of Duty, and they start extracting the cash. They drop off Havana and her family with a load of money, which is when she drops the bombshell that they stole more than Lorea's money and that more people will be coming after them. Over the Andes, the helicopter starts struggling, so they have to dump $50 million, but it's not enough and the gearbox blows on the helicopter, which forces them to make a hard landing in a farmer's field minus the money. It turns out the farmer's field is actually a drug plantation, and after Redfly gets a bit trigger happy, the group have to bribe their way out of the situation. They traverse the jungle and mountains, making it rain along the way. The group then eventually end up burning a lot of the money to keep warm, and similar to Pablo Escobar, it becomes pretty clear that it was never really about the money for these guys. The entire adventure for them has been about returning to the life that they felt they had to leave behind. Redfly in the film states that he only feels good when he's got a gun in his hand, and this scene of him tipping his suitcase full of cash on the fire showcases that all he cared about was being back on a mission, the one thing that made him feel any semblance of normality. Things heat up pretty quickly for the group though when they are shot at by snipers, and Redfly is killed by a boy from the farm who had been tracking them until he could get a clean shot. They learn that the village has people after them and decide that the only way to survive is to head through them. Chucking away the money into a gorge, they carry Redfly's body the rest of the journey and manage to commandeer a jeep, which leads to a drag race to the beach. The group manage to make it to the beach and boat, and from here they escape. When coming to split the cash though, they realise that it would be morally wrong to take it when Redfly didn't make it home, so they decide to forfeit their shares and donate the remaining $5 million to his family. They go their separate ways, and Garcia promises to go and see Havana in Australia. He parts ways with William, reminding him to make sure that Redfly's family don't forget who he is. William passes him a scrumpled up piece of paper and says maybe you can go and do something good with it one day. Garcia opens it up and finds that there are coordinates written there. Now, those who are confused as to what this means, this is because during the scene when the group throw away the money, William marked it on the map. As the area will be covered in snow soon, it becomes unlikely that it will ever be discovered by those who don't have the exact coordinates. It's quite a smart move and lets us know that the trip wasn't for nothing. And that ties up the film and sends us into the credits. Now onto my review. Netflix original movies are often pretty mediocre, and normally the films only appear on the platform because the studio behind them don't have the confidence to distribute them theatrically. However, I thought that Triple Frontier was fantastic. The movie could have fallen victim to a number of cliches, but every time I thought that one would rear its head, the film diverted and threw another hurdle in front of the group. This is really gripping cinema that is reminiscent of films like Sicario 2 and much more, and it still feels unique and original. Overall, I had a fantastic time with the movie, and right now it stands as one of the best original films on the platform. Everyone performed fantastically, and hopefully one day we get a quadruple Frontier, even if that title is terrible. Anyway, what were your thoughts on Triple Frontier, and did you figure out what the coordinates meant? Comment below and let me know, and if you enjoyed this video then please like it, and make sure you check out my breakdown of this week's other big release, Captain Marvel, which will be linked at the end. This is a channel for people who are mad into movies, so if that's the kind of thing you like, hit subscribe. Thanks again for taking the time to watch this. I've been Definition, you've been the best, and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.